What we do here is go back.
Hello everybody, it's Ollie, and today is the first episode of this podcast, okay? Now, I don't have a name for this podcast. Let's just call it the Ollie Podcast right now. Now, to intro you to this podcast, now, I've been making videos for a few years, but I've only been making videos on this kind of channel for like about a month or so. And I'm just doing it, and I'm really enjoying it. But there's a complete difference between telling a story or filming a video or giving advice on like a kind of video format than there is in just sitting down with a microphone and just spilling and talking and just kind of letting things flow. Like, I find there's a complete different type of energy, and I find that my body allows me to talk much better when I'm just talking to a microphone than when I have to like do 10 different cuts on a camera. So this kind of podcast is an opportunity for me to just talk shit, basically, and just talk about the things that are going on in my life. So I'm going to try and dedicate each podcast to a certain topic. Maybe if I enjoy speaking about other topics, I'll just keep it relevant to one topic for a while. Who knows? Let's just let it be off the rails for a while. So today's topic, though, is going to be about like kind of meditation and kind of spiritual journey, if you will, all this kind of stuff. Pretty crazy, pretty heavy stuff that we can't really talk about with our mates. And why can't we talk about it with our mates? Well, anybody who I think lives in kind of like the Western civilization, me living in somewhere like England or Spain, and with a family who doesn't really meditate, doesn't really like kind of believe in it, aren't like, just really don't care about kind of spiritual journey, occasionally talk about ghosts and stuff. It's kind of difficult to kind of explain what you're going through, and it's kind of hard to find people that also meditate or do something like yoga, or kind of are just trying to find the reason why we're on this fucking rock spinning through the universe, you know? And that's why I kind of wanted to sit today and make today about that, because I find it hard in my life, like, to actually find people to speak to, because you're either way too fucking spiritual and you creep people out and they're like, fucking hell, Ollie's just gone mental. He's off the rails. He's talking about other universes. He's talking about different energy inside him. He's talking about all this crazy shit that I don't know. He's talking about protecting himself during meditation. Isn't meditation just being still? Why do you need to protect yourself? Or you go the other way, where you meet someone who's like a bit spiritual and they just hit you with this craziness, and it doesn't resonate with you at all, and you're just like, fuck me, and you're then one of the people who's like, oh, this guy's talking about other universes and what the fuck. So basically today I'm just going to talk about meditation and the whole kind of reading and like kind of just opening yourself up to different things, and like just going to talk about that kind of shit. So let's start with meditation, right? Now, I, like many other people, I think that when you join this kind of spiritual road, and I don't mean that in a kind of like actual spirit kind of way, I mean it in a way like just what meditation, yoga and all that kind of stuff is. I think we all kind of join it for the same reason. We either join it because we're depressed and we're not happy with where we are, or we kind of like join it because we're looking for something else, or we're just not kind of satisfied. Like, I started meditating because I just was unconfident. I felt shit every single day. I couldn't leave my house at certain periods of time. Like, I went for a stage where I didn't really want to leave my house or do anything. I was just like, let's just stay inside. Let's not leave my house. Let's just be in this little world where I kind of build my own world. I don't want to get a job. I just build my own job. And I kind of built my own life around not leaving my house. Like, even now, I've created a job where I don't have to leave my house. I don't have to go to the gym. I live in kind of isolated kind of environment. So I started meditating as a way to kind of relax my mind, because I'm one of them people who just thinks constantly, just thoughts running through my head about just shit. Like, honestly, like I talk to myself too. Like, I've kind of lowered that down, but I used to sit there and just walk around my room just talking and just babbling on about random stuff, like, oh, this is what I'm going to do today, or this is what I'm going to do tomorrow, or in like 6 weeks from now, this is my work plan or work schedule. And I used to just talk like just constantly to myself. It's really unhealthy, but really good fun, but just really unhealthy. So I kind of did meditation to kind of just quiet down my brain a little bit, like allow me to just enjoy the moment and not constantly be looking for the next thing. And then when I started meditating, I kind of realized that I never was in the moment. Like, if I went on holiday, I'd be like, let's book the next holiday. So already, without the holiday even being over, I'd be like, let's think about a next holiday that I'm going to do, and let's start booking it because this is so much fun. But I was never really there. Like, I was always thinking, this is going to be good to put on Facebook, or this is like a good feeling that I'm getting, but I don't really care. I just kind of want to, like, I don't know, like, I was always waiting for the day to be over. Like, all right, so I'm going to get up today, the day's going to be over. So when I started meditating, I started like actually being there, and I started, especially in the last couple of months, I've been meditating now for 1.5 years, but over the last couple of months, when I've got a bit more deep into it, I've been able to kind of just be like, all right, let everything go, let it all go, and just kind of be there. And more in my everyday life, like say for instance, I am late and I'm meant to go to bed at like 9 o'clock, but instead it's 9 o'clock and I still haven't like done yoga. I still haven't done my nighttime routine and I'm kind of like, fuck. Usually I'd be screaming, my head would be going off. It'd be like, Ollie, you need to be doing shit. Just skip everything and just go to bed because you skip it because it's not worth it. As now I'm kind of like breathe in, breathe out, relax and just be in the moment. Time really doesn't fucking matter. It's all one big day anyway. The only thing that like actually like separates the days is night and day, and night and day is just a thing. So just ignore it. Don't pay any attention. So now it's like much easier to bring myself out of that. And that was one of the kind of first things that I kind of heavily noticed. The next thing that I noticed with meditation was that I became less awkward. Like, I mean, honestly, and I don't know if anybody resonates with this, but I used to be that guy who would say I had to meet a new person or I had to go to a job interview or I had to like do something that was going to involve me experience something new. Whether it was a good thing or a bad thing, I used to spend weeks, like every night I'd be thinking about it and be like, holy shit, I just wanted it to be over. In the morning I would like actually get up, I'd be like, all right, don't worry, this time tomorrow. And I would fill my brain with this time tomorrow will be over. This time tomorrow will be over. And this started working its way into just normal things like going out with friends and like going to the shops, and it just got crazy. So when I started meditating, the second thing that I kind of noticed probably in like the first couple of weeks was that I stopped worrying. Like I would worry, I would get anxiety, but I would always find that I'd be waiting to get anxiety. So it'd be like, instead of thinking about it for weeks and weeks at a time, I'd just think about it the second before. Like, it was like always waiting to be anxious. It was like, all right, I'm usually anxious at this point. Or maybe it's going to happen right like 10 minutes before. Maybe it's going to happen 5 minutes before. Maybe it's going to happen during. And then, but before I knew it, I was over. And then as the meditation practice got on, I got more and more better at kind of keeping myself grounded. Like, I'll just throw out an example. Like, this is an example that I experienced. Say you're walking past like 4 big dudes, all right, and you're a guy and you're with your girlfriend and you're feeling intimidating. These guys are motherfuckers. They're looking to start shit. You basically, your eye contact's fucked. And if you're not wearing glasses, it's really awkward because you have to either look at the floor, you have to just look straight ahead. It's awkward as shit. Well, before I would see that from like a mile off and be like, oh shit, fuck, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Where do I stare? Where do I stare? All these different things would like run through my brain. Now it's like, all right, breathe in, breathe out. Just keep thinking, all right, what am I feeling right now? What am I feeling right now? And like, it's like you just keep yourself so in the moment to the point where by the time you've even got to them, it's done. You don't even know what you're thinking because you're just there. Now, bear in mind, this doesn't always work, but on a grand scheme of things, this is a really good practice to have. Let's stop thinking about what kind of I noticed from meditation. Like, probably one of the biggest and most significant things is I started paying more attention to what I was eating, and I started actually enjoying things. Like, I love eating food, but I found that I just eat at food for the complete sake of it. And like simple things like meditation have allowed me to just kind of, when I'm eating, like be like, oh, what am I eating? Or what does it taste like? Do these kind of things. So you get these kind of little enjoyment, little quirk things off it. But really enough about meditation. Now let's just cut the crap, right? We know meditation's a good thing. We don't need to hear all the benefits that I've got on it. Maybe some other time I will spill more stuff on this. But let's cut to like kind of the whole majority thing. Like, obviously now, after you start meditating, it's very easy to then start doing yoga. And then after you start doing yoga, you start doing different types of meditation. And then you start doing breathing exercises and then affirmations in the mirror. It just kind of gets crazy. But one thing that I'll tell you, and this is kind of something that I noticed, I don't know if anybody else has experienced this, but say when you first start doing meditating, it becomes your life. Yeah. And then constantly for the past year and a half, I have had like floats back. So sometimes I stop caring about meditation and it becomes like a complete fucking, just like a brainless activity. And then other times I care so much about it that it's all I'm thinking about and it starts affecting my real life. Meaning that, say I am talking to my girlfriend, now it's only about meditation or yoga or spiritual enlightenment or about the universe and we're all being one and like why you shouldn't be annoyed and why you shouldn't gossip and all these kind of things. And that's really hard because if you're speaking to people who just want to have fun, they don't want to hear about how the universe is one and like we're all just one. We shouldn't be angry about silly stuff. We're on a rock. Why do we care? Like, we shouldn't have a 9-to-5 job because 9-to-5 jobs are stupid. Nobody necessarily, like, you only can have them kind of conversations in very small majority of things. So I found that I alienated a lot of my family because all I would talk about was this kind of like, eat better food. And it was never out of a bad place in my heart, but I was always just kind of talking about, oh man, spiritual enlightenment. Oh man, want to just keep pushing it. Oh man, is this? And I like every single time I talked, I didn't want to talk about gossip anymore. And for anybody who kind of follows this spiritual practice, you kind of like gossip is the first thing to go. And the problem is about gossip is that you find most people really enjoy it. Like, and if you stop not reacting to gossip, if you stop reacting to it, you lose a lot of friends because they all want to talk about gossip. But if you're sat there like, I don't really care, let the person do what they do, because I don't give a shit if someone like kisses somebody or anything like that. It's cool, good for them. Like, you know, that person's had sex with 50 people, good. At least somebody's doing shit. I don't care. Like, if you start acting like that, you run out of stuff to talk about with the average person, because most people don't want to have these in-depth talks about crazy stuff that makes their brain like explode and shit. So I found like you alienate a lot of people, or I did at least. And I found like one of the ways to kind of get around this, and this is what I've noticed, is when I'm on my own and like when I'm in a practice, I can think about meditation. I can design new things. And I am not really lucky enough, like, and hopefully I will in the future as I start putting myself out there a bit more. I don't really have a lot of friends at all in general, but I don't have a lot of friends who I can talk about meditation with and stuff like that. But if you did, then I would say, hey, look, talk about meditation with the people who really want to listen and get it and can add to your mind. As the people who you interact with on a daily basis, maybe it's your mum, your dad, your girlfriend, your friends, or whatever it is, don't feel like you have to like talk about it with them. Instead, every experience you have with them, just try and make it as fun for them and you as possible. Like, I find that now when I go out with my parents, instead of trying to be like that guy who's like, there's the world and all this kind of crazy stuff, I'm just like, hey, how can I make them have a good time? All right, let's joke, let's laugh. Oh man, meditation, what a load of shit. Just joke about it, you know? Like, I joke about me just sitting there and breathing in. It's like, what have you done today, Ollie? I've done 40 minutes of nothing. And I'm proud of it. And I'm going to tell everybody about it. And it's like, when you start doing that, you realize that people love to be around you. And then almost your like meditation, people start like, what would you say? I don't know, like becoming aware of it and doing it. Like my dad started doing meditation and doing things like that. And it wasn't from me sitting there going, meditate. It's so good. It was for me just kind of making him laugh a lot more and him seeing the effects it had like on me with other people. Like, and so that's kind of a little thing that I've learned, completely off topic in a way, not 100%, but so that's just something that I learned. And as I get more and more into this, I'm learning that you have to, even though it's super fun and it's one of my favorite things to talk about, like the universe, because I don't really know a lot about it. So like for me, it's like when someone hits me with like a mind bomb, like, oh man, did you know that after you die, this could possibly happen? My head explodes. Like I explode because I'm looking for it still. Like I'm looking for like, what happens after death? What, all right, all my friends or my family, am I going to see them again? Is our energy going to ever cross paths? Is there going to be anything? Because what after death is it like super amazing? It mind blows me. And I'm just like, I don't give a shit. It's like the most best experience ever. Or is it just nothing? And it's like, I'm still looking for that kind of thing. I don't know if anybody else has experienced this too. Like when you start, like in this process that I'm in right now, I found that it's really difficult because there's this material part of my brain that's like, Ollie, you need to earn money because money is what is going to keep you fucking alive in this mad world we live in. Like, because obviously in a dream world, honestly, I really mean this. I want to just plant plants. Like, I've got an addiction. I just want to plant plants. I want to grow my own food. Like if I had a big enough garden, I'd be growing my own food. I have a really small garden and you're not allowed to plant stuff in it because it's not my actual garden I'm renting. So it would be a bit weird if all of a sudden I started planting stuff in my garden. They'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? Planting a tree and stuff, planting orange trees in like about 2 feet of garden. But I mean, I want to plant my own stuff. I kind of want like to be able to earn money in different ways, like throughout actually working in an environment which I wouldn't. I've made that happen. Like, I don't work a 9-to-5 job. I work the hours, but I would do it when I want to, and I have a much more relaxed approach. But the truth is the jobs that I find the most fun don't earn money. They just don't. Like this podcast right here probably won't earn money, but it's just an extremely fun way to kind of event. And that's something I've had massive trouble with because on one half, you're like kind of like my materialistic brain is like, Ollie, you need to be motivated to earn money. You need to be egoic because your ego's got to kind of get you to a point where you can just relax and be able to go and then follow this path that you want to take, like be able to go and take 6 weeks off work to go to a yoga retreat and pay like $4,000 for it or whatever the like crazy prices for these yoga retreats and meditation retreats, and being able to go and see out people like Eckhart Tolle and surround yourself with these amazing people. You've got to kind of get that money. And then the other part of me is like, hey Ollie, like that you don't want to spend, like you don't really give a shit. Like when you're dying, everything you do gets undone, and yeah, providing for family's fun, but it's like, man, just earn enough money to get by, Follow your practice right now. Do as much kind of meditating and practice mindfulness as much as you can. Do as much yoga. Surround yourself with the greatest people you can right now. Just don't worry as much. But they conflict with each other. It's like fucking two opposite energies just smashing against each other, and it's like, which one will win? Now, right now, my kind of meditation mind is winning much more because I'm practicing it like for 2-3 hours a day. So it's like, and the part of my brain that like judges people and kind of tries to make me improve is getting weaker because I think about it a lot more. So every single time I like go, oh shit, should I go outside looking like this? My brain goes, hey Ollie, you don't care. Your ego is just made up. And then that like kind of decreases it a little bit. But then on the other hand, what's going to motivate me to get out of bed and stuff? So that's something that I'm going through right now. And I don't, if anybody else has kind of listened to this and kind of experienced this, if you could give me some in-depth kind of mind-blowing, like, I don't know what the word is, just crazy advice. Like, I'll be like, oh man, this is what you do. You have healthy balance or something. I'd appreciate that. But it's like, these are the kind of things, these are the kind of questions you get when you're on this kind of weird-ass fucking journey of life that is just mind-blowing. This is sweet right now, man. This is like having a therapist. I'm just talking and I'm being listened to by nothing, by the energy of the world. It's being listened to. It's fun. But on another hand, okay, let's cut the crap for 1 second, all right? I'm talking about all this stuff like universes and all this kind of crazy stuff, but there is even part of me that like goes, oh, is it true? Is it true? Like, is meditation doing this? Am I really doing this? Because I haven't had any kind of crazy unbelievable experiences. Like, I mean, I have like sat there and been like, whoa, this feels good, and wow, I've seen the benefits from meditation, and yoga feels sometimes just incredibly intense. But because I've trained for most of my life and done gym training, most of the feelings you get from like, say, blasting weights, or like when I did MMA and cage fighting, like the feeling you got from like being in the ring or from kind of training, the adrenaline, and like the feeling is sick, and then after it your testosterone is so high that it kind of makes all your blocks all the feelings that you've got in your body. Like that kind of feeling is almost the same as meditation and stuff and like doing yoga. So it's like I've already experienced it for a majority of years, and it's like kind of like half of me is like, oh, like, is it this or is it this? And that's why I kind of need to find a teacher, like to kind of teach me, because obviously your mind wonders. It's like, oh, look, all right, I want to believe this stuff as much as the next person, but is it how it is? Is it? Because you speak to people on a day-to-day basis, and like sometimes you'll speak to someone and you'll be on like the same level. Like say one time you'll speak to your mum and dad or like girlfriend or what friend or whatever, and they're on the same level as you, and you're like fucking just blasting shit, and you're like, oh well, what about this? And oh my god, did the aliens exist? Well, probably, because we live in an infinite universe. All this kind of awesome stuff starts spilling, and it's like, wow, it's just like amazing. And then you speak to them the next day and it's like you're a fucking alien. You've now turned into the alien you were talking about, and they look at you like, who are you? What are you? Don't give me that. I don't want to hear that. And it's like you have this kind of moment. So it's like a constant balance of like, am I just like, oh, well, I don't know. I'm confused. Can people please explain why the human race is so confusing? Why we're just so mental? On a side note, I'm going to hit you with a bit of advice right now. I basically, I don't know if anybody else, but I've become mindless in training. Like, I've trained since I was like 14. I'm now 21. Can't do the maths on how many years that is, like 7 years or so, 8 years maybe. And I've done all kinds of training. I've done taekwondo for a year. I've done MMA, like cage fighting for about 8 months. I've done like different kinds of CrossFit and weights. I've done like heavy weightlifting and cardio, all that kind of shit. Irrelevant to you guys. And like recently, like for the last year, I had like kind of a really light training session. So I don't go to a gym. I do it in my own home, and it's kind of like, say, 40 minutes, and I do sit-ups twice a week, and I do all this kind of stuff. But I've found that I've become completely mindless in my training, meaning that the routine hasn't changed for about 6 months. My muscles are looking okay. I feel pretty fit. But the other day, I just went on the internet and I was like, all right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a super MMA workout, like the intense workouts. They're like 20 minutes long, but they're like kind of constant. You have like 2-minute break here and there. I did it, man. And I nearly threw up. I felt like shit for an hour. But then all of a sudden, all my testosterone got released and I felt invincible. Like, I sometimes have fears about stuff. And no joke, once that testosterone hit my body and the endorphins were released, I felt invincible. Like, I was walking outside, like, I don't care. Some kid, like, on a bike called me Harry Styles. Like, Harry Styles, and I was with my girlfriend, he just kept, like, driving off in the distance, like, saying, Harry Styles, like, fucking, like, about, say, 15, 16-year-old. And I was like, normally I'd be like, oh, shit, just fucking leave me alone. Don't offend my ego. Don't go near me. As I was laughing my head off, it was, like, a really funny experience. It made me really happy, because it was just, like, something you don't really get often. And one, I don't really look like Harry Styles, so... It was kind of hilarious. But I mean, like, yeah, it was like amazing. So what I found out is that I've been kind of switching off my brain during training, not focusing on stuff. Yeah, getting a bit of a sweat on here and there, but not been focusing on stuff. And when I actually pushed my body, oh my God, the feeling of the greatness. And I realized how important working out is, like intense working out, like not weightlifting, but like using your body weight and kind of working hard for like 20 minutes as opposed to doing like an hour workout that's slow and boring and like using heavy weight. Just kind of feeling that intenseness for like 10, 20, even 30 minutes. Oh my God, it balances out your meditation, your yoga, all these things just come together in this beautiful thing. So if you're not right now training or you're not doing like 20-minute workouts, do it. Because you would just be mind blown on how good it feels. Like seriously, I did it, I think it was 2 days ago. I did it on Tuesday and it's now Thursday or something like that. No, I did it on Monday, and it's now Wednesday. And I'm still floating on fucking air. I'm ready to train again, even though it nearly made me throw up. And I'm sorry, the feeling of throwing up, and especially when it's like 37 degrees outside, it's just a horrible feeling. It's like your body just convulses. You just feel like, oh my God, I don't forget. But it's like, honestly, it was worth it. And I'm looking forward to doing it again. Anyway, we're now at about 23 minutes of me just babbling on about random stuff. So I think I'm going to cut it there. This has been the first podcast. And I hope somebody's listening to this and he's enjoying it. I'm going to hit you back with some more podcasts, maybe some in once a week, I don't know, maybe like once every other day. Who the fuck knows? I don't know. I'm just playing it, I talk as much as I have to talk. I love talking. It's one of my favorite things. And if you want to like come on and do a bit of talking with me, which could be a possibility in the future, then just send me a message, right? If you're into spiritual stuff, I like talking about spiritual stuff, so we can get on here and do a little bit of talking. Anyway, I hope you have an absolutely awesome day. See you later. Bye. See, that is opera right there, and I'm not an opera singer, so that's off the cuff, just off the cuff.